And look, mind you, y'all, I've been living in Richmond my whole life, but I never went down them streets that around them houses.
And that's a whole nother thing.
Like, I never,
Why?
man, bro.
Bro, why do we, like, it's like this framework, our minds, when we come from the hood, quote unquote hood, because the hood's everywhere, in certain streets we don't turn down.
Right.
In certain places we won't go. And it's like we put it in our minds and our perspectives, our awareness is that we don't belong there. We may not be able to verbally express it.
We don't even take ownership of the city that we live in,
we don't have any ownership because we don't believe we have ownership. So we claim the hood because the hood is the closest thing to ownership we understand.
Right.
Where really we can own something like this big house over here.
Fact.
That's still Richmond. But we don't see that as being Richmond. It's not Richmond if it ain't from the gutter. We don't see that as being Richmond.
But yeah, so hey man, look, man. Thing is that I like, bro, this is like literally across the hood, man. Like this is like houses on houses, nice houses. Not no trash, average. Like these houses better than the Jones and Verano.
And they've been here for a long time. And
we be tripping. Man, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go ahead.
I don't think people get it. Like when you come from Richmond, man, and you come from a hood, and you come from a culture, you don't.
You think that's Richmond?
You think that's Richmond. You don't acknowledge that Richmond has a rich history. You know what I mean? You don't. Of course, you know about the Confederate, and you know about people not liking you if you melanated like we are. We get all that. But what you don't get is that Richmond has so much wealth here. And when you come from the hood, bro, you don't see nothing but the hood. And it's funny, when you even leave the hood, it's like your mind does not process that you have access to so much wealth. Like your mind is not gonna process how much you got access to. So you can sit here and move from the hood thinking you gotta leave the city to see that what Richmond has to offer. Where really, while you was living in that hood the whole time, right across the street was opportunity. Right across the street was opportunity for you to see what it means to live in a different way. Like you used to living in the projects, you used to living around bandos, you used to living, yes sir.
And keep in mind, bro, this north side.
Yeah, this is north side.
This is north side, y'all.
This is north side.
This is north side, Richmond.
This is definitely north side. This ain't
no west end.
No, not at all, bro.
This is north side, bro.
And this is the city.
This is the city.
This is the city. Like, people don't get it, man. And in the city of Richmond, man, people get caught up in Jackson Ward, Fairfield Court, all of Church Hill, Wookham, Mosby, right? Chamberlain. They get caught up in all these places, going to schools, John Marshall, George Wythe, TJ, Huguenot, right? But TJ is kind of in the West End, so they might see a little bit of different. But the thing is, bro, at the end of the day, like, if you don't take the time to shift your perspective, if you don't take the time to consume positive things, different opportunities to expand your mind, to look at stuff differently, to open your mind to different information, you may not ever get to a place, when you coming from Richmond and this culture, you may not ever get to a place where you can realize that these things is open to you. Like, that's just what it is, man. And we come from this culture, bro. So now we just riding around and watching and looking.
Right.
And
look, mind you, y'all, I've been living in Richmond my whole life,
bro.
But I never went down them streets that around them houses.
And that's a whole nother thing.
Like I never,
why?
Man, bro.
Bro, why do we like? It's like this framework. Our minds, when we come from the hood, quote unquote hood, because the hood's everywhere. In certain streets we don't turn down.
Right.
In certain places we won't go. And it's like we put it in our minds and our perspectives. Our awareness is that we don't belong there. We may not be able to verbally express it.
We don't even take ownership of the city that we live in, yo.
We don't have any ownership because we don't believe we have ownership. So we claim the hood because the hood is the closest thing to ownership we understand.
Right.
Where really we can own something like this big house over here.
Fact.
That's still Richmond.
Yes.
But we don't see that as being Richmond. It's not Richmond if it ain't from the gutter. We don't see that as being Richmond. We see that as, oh, they bougie, or I don't got access to it, or we just strictly blind to it. Meaning that we don't understand it, so we don't have no awareness of it. KRS-One said that, bro. When you don't understand something, you avoid it.
Say that again, bro.
When you don't understand something, you avoid it. If you don't have a word for something, you're not going to be able to sit here and talk about it, right? So KRS-One said, if we all go into the same room, but we all have different education, we see the world differently. So if we go into a room and you go into there with a carpenter, a plumber, and a painter, they're all going to see it differently. A plumber's going to see what work needs to be done. A painter's going to see what painting needs to be done. And a carpenter's going to see what baseboards, whatever needs to be done. So now in this aspect of life where we're moving through, right, we're looking at these houses, right? And as a kid growing up in the hood, you're not looking at these houses as they are accessible if you only know hood logic. If your logic and mentality is only hood, only gunshots, only gunfire, only fighting, only trying to make it to school on time.
Always trying to prove yourself.
Trying to prove yourself. Man. Always watching what everybody else get. You'll never understand that this right here is accessible to you. All of this is accessible to you. Right? But our mentalities don't understand and see that. Because we lack that awareness to understanding that this is ours too. It is still built upon our backs. It is still built by us. This is still an option for us. But we can't understand it because we only have the mentality and logic of being in the hood. That's it. So man, we just driving through, bro, because this is a refresher for us.
Oh man.
It's a refresher that whatever you desire, you can get. And you know, everybody be crying about leaving their city, bro, because they don't know what the city got to offer. And there's a reason why you don't know what the city got to offer, because you can't see no further than your nose. All these old cliches that the elders have said to us, bro, they hold so much weight, you don't even understand. Look at this, bro. Crazy, bro. When we see people walking around our neighborhoods, we be sitting there watching them like, what they up to? These people walking around their neighborhoods just to get exercise. Bruh, if that just ain't alarming to your mindset, bro.
Wow, bro.
Like,
but I never been back here, bro. Never.
Bro, and this is the city, bro. This is not county. This is what people gotta understand. This is the city. This is still not the county, bro. And you wonder where all these kids go to school at. When you build your community, y'all, you can also build things that keeps your community. So why would I send my kids to a school that doesn't uphold the standards and expectations that I desire? But see, we accept anything.
And it's crazy, bro, because right now, bro, as we speak, this is kind of like shifting my perspective on moving out of Richmond. Like, do you really want to do that, sir?
Do you really want to move out without shifting your perspective internally first?
Right.
Because no matter where you go to, you always gonna find a hood if you from the hood. Right. Always. You're gonna find a way to put yourself in a place, bro, that you feel that is accepting of you. No matter how far you can run, man, you always gonna find a way to put yourself back in a place that is accepted. No matter what, bro. So a lot of us be running from where we've come from to find ourselves ending up in the same place but in a different city. You know what I mean? In a different circumstance, different situation, but it's so similar to where we come from. But first we gotta be self-aware, y'all. We gotta shift that awareness in ourselves, man. And that's what I'm about, perspective and self-awareness, bro. At the end of the day, y'all see me doing different things. You see me on the field, you see me doing this, you see me working with individuals, you might have me behind the camera, whatever. But at the end of the day, bro, it's all about perspective and shifting it, bro. At the end of the day, like, I love the athletic end. I love everything health and wellness. I'm looking to improve on that. You feel me? But at the end of the day, it's all about your awareness. What are you doing to not be average, bro? What are you doing to upkeep your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial awareness? Like, and I know I'm lacking in numerous areas, so my goal is to shift that and help other people shift that as well, bro. It's crazy.
Man, we gonna be back, y'all.
Man, hold on, don't even cut it yet, cause I need people to see this. Like, y'all, if y'all watch this whole thing through and through, we just drove through a neighborhood that's in the city of Richmond. For y'all that's from Richmond, right? And they ain't been around here. And now we about to take a left onto Passing Brook Road onto Laburnum. And I just want y'all to see the shift. And I hope y'all can feel it through this visual. I hope y'all can feel it just from this car ride with us. Because if the light turn quick enough, I think we still got like time, because IGTV like 15 minutes. I bet. Look. So now we going through this light. We about to going through Brook, and we about to be on Laburnum. We still around some decent houses, you know what I mean? But I just want to show y'all how quick that reality can shift for people. And just how quick this can shift for people. We just passed Seminary, $500,000 $1 million homes, right? Now we about to be on Chamberlain. This is less than a mile, y'all. I want y'all to understand that. It's less than a mile. Now we about to be on Chamberlain. And the first thing you see when you get on Chamberlain, you see the bus stop. There ain't nothing wrong with the bus stop. But you see my man's over there on the corner holding a sign, probably saying something like, I'm homeless. You know what I mean? I need assistance. And that's not a knock against him at all. It's just crazy because that homeless dude is not over there. Oh, we need more? Yeah. That homeless dude not over there where we just drove at, which is less than a mile away where it looked like wealth is. The homeless dude is in the area where he know where heavy traffic is, but in the same breath,
it's the mentality where he live.
It's the mentality of where he live at, right? We still see houses, right? We just went past Hawthorne, right? Still some nice houses. Now we about to go back to where we was at, which was Old Brook Road, right? Which was by Pine Camp. Again, we still haven't been a mile, y'all. We still haven't been a mile. Like, I'm telling y'all. So we gonna take this left on Montrose. And it's funny because if we keep straight and heading to the county, that's what Essex Village and Delmont Village is. And you know, you from Richmond, you know about Essex and Delmont. But now, here we go, right here is Lincoln Muse. Right?
It's not even a mile, y'all.
Not even a mile.
Not even a mile.
Decent looking apartments, right? Decent for the most part. They just renovated them a few years ago. They ain't look like that, but you look to the left, I slow down. It ain't the same, right? Now we go back to the right, you'll see some things ain't the same.
That's your piece of grill.
Nathan Place. You see these apartments, y'all? Within those apartments, the quote-unquote hood mentality.
Church look good, though.
Church look good. Right. Smaller homes, but it's great. Now we're about to get Old Brook. All of this is to not only have the content, man, but all of this is just for y'all to realize, like, sometimes we overthink our lives. Sometimes we make stuff so complex, bro. And really, if we desire more, we have to just shift our minds first. And I don't mean just like it's easy, but just please make the effort to. Make the effort to see more. Make the effort to be more for yourself, man. Make the effort to break out them chains that you've been placed in and it's been placed on your mental. You think you're not a slave because you're not physically in bondage, man, but we are a lot of times are mentally in bondage. And now we about to go around the same apartments that were bandos. So these ones good. They ain't got the boarding up on it, but we don't know if they got boarding up on it in the back end.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
Definitely don't know.
You know what I mean? This is just what it is, man. And then the funny thing about these circumstances, right, is that these same places that become hoods to us end up becoming gentrified and then become places where revenue is really made.
Yup.
So it's not the place that's the problem, but the mentality that's created from being in the place, or more so the reality that's created for the people that believe that that's the mentality that you're supposed to have when you live here. Under all the circumstances that you go through, don't get me wrong, I understand you go through a lot, but some way, somehow, you still got to get back to this place of understanding that you're worth more.
Fact. So we at 15 minutes, y'all.
Yeah, we out.
We out.